This is True Buzz, that Mary J. Now we ain't new to this. For my stoners and for my cannabis enthusiasts, never heard a show as good as this. Number one, it's the best. Bringing in many special guests in the industry of cannabis. Business owners to growers, even artists you know of. So sit back and just roll up. Perfect show for my smokers. True Buzz. Hey.
True Buds, this is True Buds. Welcome to the True Buds Show. It's your host and buddy, Jack Woltering here. And we're going to be diving into some cannabis news and just reacting to some stuff that's happening in the space. So I hope this podcast can keep you up to date with kind of what's currently going on in the cannabis and hemp world. We're going to be talking about articles, whether it's Newsom doing an outright ban on Delta 9, whether it's Trump and his Florida stance and just his cannabis stance in general, and some other, articles within that realm there in terms of current news in the cannabis space. There's some interesting stuff going on as always. So we'll see what happens there, guys. We're going to have some fun here today, crack some jokes. So light up, eat your edible, have some fun with us because we are about to dive in to a fun episode of the True Bud Show podcast. But before that, I just want to say shout out to our sponsor here, Mason Pot, the craft infuser and decarboxylation kit. Go use our code TrueBudShow to get 10% off masonpot.com. If you're somebody that enjoys edibles, enjoys making infusions, or just wants to save money and have a better effect on your edibles, feel free to check out masonpot.com and get hooked up there, guys. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, check out True Buds TV, our other channel, and the Mason Pot YouTube channel. Both great resources for more cannabis content. This channel here, this podcast, is to take a little deeper dive sometimes. And we're going to be having a lot more episodes coming. I know we've been a bit sporadic here, but we have guests lined up. We're going to keep these episodes coming. So I figured what a better way to hop back in. I think the last one I did was about a month ago talking about the hemp space in pretty good detail. So I was like, let's go address some, current stuff going on in the space. So I think that's a good way to take it here off the rip, guys. And I apologize if I sound a bit sniffly, dude. My allergies are freaking acting up all week, man. I've had like tissues in my pocket all week. And how do you guys feel if ever you have allergies and you're smoking? And do you ever feel like when you're smoking, it almost causes an allergy? I mean, weed is a flower. That doesn't really happen for me. It's just this outside air. I don't know what's in the fucking air. I don't know if it's like pollen in the house, maybe dog hair or something, but my allergies have been acting up for real. But it does happen sometimes this time of the year. You're like, dude, I thought this was a cannabis podcast. We talk about allergies. But let's hop in and talk about Gavin Newsom here. And Newsom proposes outright ban on hemp THC in California, SF Gate. This has been kind of happening for a while. They've been trying to crack down, but smoke shops are still selling, THCA, Delta 9 gummies. I think a big part of this, where most people are upset, in my opinion, is probably the THC beverage space, the hemp beverage space, because these were being sold at like wine and spirits and other retailers around California. And I'm all about giving access to the people that deserve it. And I think that's the great spot for beverages. Go where people are getting beverages, get people used to it. And before we dive into this article, I just want to say that because my views can turn people on or off in certain ways, but I just want to say we need to unite as a cannabis industry and hemp industry coming together. At the end of the day, we're all here for basically the same thing. So I don't want to see this get too divided. And I think that's kind of what's happening intentionally, on the back end is hemp's being divided from cannabis being divided from hemp, people talking shit over here, people talking shit over here. I see what's going on both sides. I want to come find a middle, being more on the cannabis side. I get that, but I think we need to come together as just cannabis and hemp lovers and work together on figuring this out because it's a crazy situation. So let's dive into this article here. This is SF Gate. Governor Gavin Newsom fired a direct attack Friday morning on the booming hemp industry, filing emergency rules that would completely ban THC, an intoxicating compound found in cannabis, from hemp products in the state. Hemp products are sold outside of the regulated cannabis stores, can be purchased online at retail locations like gas stations throughout the state. Newsom said in a statement Friday that the emergency rules were needed to protect children. And that's what's a little crazy to me, right? Because everybody is essentially age gated, especially if it's the hemp beverages. If you're going to go buy booze, you get carded if you look under 21 or under 40, whatever the fucking rule is. You get carded to make sure you're 21. The same thing happens with cannabis. You get carded. That being said, some tobacco stores and smoke shops might be a little more lax, but I imagine they don't want to get their license taken away. and are going to card. And this children part is just kinda crazy, dude. And I see it. There's a lot of hemp products that have cartoon characters on there and shit like that. So I kinda see where they're coming from a little bit. But again, most people are being carded. And if you go look at the fucking liquor store, dude, alcohol, which is way worse for you. I'm not gonna go down that whole fucking tangent of how cannabis and hemp is just better for you than alcohol in the general. But go into a liquor store, dude. They have like Twisted Tea Bomb Pop. They have like cartoon character seltzers and all this shit. So that I think there should be a better reasoning, but let's keep diving in here. Hemp product, we will not sit on our hands as drug peddlers target our children with dangerous and unregulated hemp products containing THC at our retail stores, Newsom said. Hey, bro, when are you going to crack down on the gray market? These fucking cartels out in Cali just fucking pushing weight. Or just these other gray markets that the dispensaries are competing with. I think that's a bigger issue than somebody going to go buy a hemp derived beverage. Just saying. We're taking action to close loopholes and increase enforcement to prevent children from accessing these dangerous hemp and cannabis products. The emergency rules would require that all hemp products in California have no detectable amount of total THC and require that customers be over the age of 21 to purchase products. The rules still need approval of the California Office of Administrative Law before they go into effect, according to The Hill. Hemp is closely related to marijuana. Both are cannabis plants, but while marijuana remained federally illegal, Congress legalized hemp in 2018. That allowed for the proliferation of hemp products that can be packaged into a wide variety of forms, from intoxicating vape pens and drinks to non-intoxicating medical tinctures. The hemp industry has exploded in popularity in recent years, thanks to hemp's loose regulations that make it cheaper for both companies to produce and customers to buy the products. And that's where the cannabis industry gets pissed, and rightfully so, compared to regulated cannabis. Some of California's own licensed marijuana companies have started to abandon the legal cannabis market in favor of producing and selling hemp. So there's more in that article. I'm not going to go through it too much more on that one. But as you see, guys, there's this battle of this, and I get that too. Again, I've talked about this in videos, man. If you're a legal cannabis dispensary or delivery service or whatever it may be, doing shit right, and then a smoke shop schlepping some shitty chemicaled out PGR buds for way cheaper that still get people super stoned that aren't educated about quality, or maybe it's a 5 gram vape cartridge for fucking $25 with fucking filled with D8, THCP, THCO, whatever the fuck it is. I see that. I get that. I think there should be more of a crackdown. I think there should be probably more regulation around hemp testing, because it's really just a free market right now. As you know, maybe you don't know, this has also been happening in California. People have been going hard on the vape companies. Some big vape companies have been testing positive for certain chemicals in their vapes. So that's been a big thing going on in the past couple months. I know certain people, I know certain brands like the Catalyst dispensary chain are testing their own shelf, which I think is cool. But it's crazy to me, man. Are that many kids really going and buying hemp when they could just probably go to any gray market dispensary and be fine, or like just have the plug, or like they said, order online. I get it, dude. I get it. Kids shouldn't be smoking this hemp shit. People, they shouldn't be smoking cannabis and whatnot, but I think there could be better reasoning there. Now let's hop into a little video reaction. I get people sending me clips, so I like to I'm trying to bring them into what we're talking about more often now. So let's see what's clip is this?
I don't know where to find
No,
this out.
that's a funny clip. That's like Nate Diaz saying he's scared of edibles. Um, what's this one? Oh, this is Lex Friedman.
You posted
Donald Trump's
recently about
stance on
marijuana
marijuana.
and that you're okay with it being legalized, but it has to be done safely. Can you explain your policy there?
Well, I just put out a paper. And first of all, medical marijuana has been amazing. I've had friends and I've had others and doctors telling me that it's been absolutely amazing, the medical marijuana. And we put out a statement that we can live with the marijuana. It's got to be a certain age, got to be a certain age to buy it. It's got to be done in a very concerted, lawful way. And the way they're doing it in Florida, I think, is going to be actually good. It's going to be very good. But it's got to be done in a good way. It's got to be done in a clean way. You go into some of these places, like in New York, it smells all marijuana. You can't, you've got to have a system where there's control. And I think the way they've done it in Florida is very good.
Do you know anything about
Of course it's going to smell like bud in some of these stores because they're slinging bud. Florida, I know, has more of the like California style, even more intense to my knowledge, of like having the jars you can view, but they don't have open buds, open jars. And when I hear people say that, we're going to dive into another clip in a minute, but when I hear people talking about the smell, it's like, dude, it's New York City. There's fucking so many smells on the streets, or whatever city. People are smoking cigarettes. People are vaping. People are doing other shit on the street that smells, and it's like all a matter of perspective. Like, oh, you don't like the weed smell? Get the fuck over it. I don't like the smell of cigarettes. I actually don't mind them, and I do enjoy the smell of cigars. But you get my point, right? It's like, is smell really that big of a deal? That being said, I mean, I'll smoke on like the streets of LA sometimes, but I try to be respectable. Like if I'm smoking and I see a family walking by, I'll like hold it down. I'm not just gonna take a huge hit and like blow it towards the family. That's just straight up like disrespect. So I get that there should be some constraining factors when it comes to smoking, but as he said, I'm for it. You know, I don't like to get political on this channel, but I have a feeling as the election starts getting closer and both candidates start talking more and more about cannabis, we might be having some more clips in here just about that, because as you may or may not know, there's this reclassification that's going on. It's kind of skipping certain levels that it should have. And we can maybe dive into that here in a little bit. But now let me pull up. Again, Trump was just saying, hey, I'm like basically for this in Florida. We need to do it a certain way. But what I fuck with that he said, though, is it doesn't make sense that people are locked up when something is legal. Imagine getting busted, dude, for like a couple joints, an eighth or something, and you're locked up and it's being legally sold. It just makes no fucking sense. And let's not even get into the whole prison system. Actually, I might bring on a guest who knows a shit ton about the prison system, because when he was chatting with me, dude, that shit blew my fucking mind for real.
There is a new study that says that
that's not it right there. It's just clicking links here, guys.
well, within the past hour,
Just click. Oh, that's Operation Sticky Fingers. Maybe we'll dive into that one. Bear with me, guys. Just clicking through links.
Let's
All right,
go
this
to the
guy.
next part. This is a personal.
This is
one,
from
very
Breaking Points.
personal to me. Let's go
Cigar.
put this up there on the screen.
I've
Speaking
never
of Trump
seen this guy before,
supporting things in the state of Florida.
My friend sent me
Trump
this
is
clip,
now
and
in
it just made
support
me laugh.
of the recreational, quote unquote, recreational marijuana initiative in Florida. Let me read entirely. As everyone knows, I was and will be again the most respected law and order president in U.S. history. We will take our streets back by being tough on crime, blah, blah, blah. Like in Florida, like so many other states that have already given their approval, personal amounts of marijuana will be legalized for adults with Amendment 3. Whether people like it or not, this will happen through the approval of voters. So it should be done correctly. We need the state legislature to responsibly create laws that prohibit the use of it in public spaces so we do not smell marijuana everywhere we go, like we do in many of the Democratic-run cities. True. At the same time, someone should not be criminal in Florida.
Is it really that big of a deal? Again, dude, you're smelling a little skunk on the street. Big fucking deal.
And this is legal in so many other states. We do not need to ruin lives and waste taxpayer dollars arresting adults with personal amounts of it on them, and no one should grieve a loved one because they died from fentanyl-laced marijuana. We will make America safe again. So Trump is now fully in support of Amendment 3. And it's funny because a lot of the criticism from the pro-life side of Trump on these amendments and all that applies exactly to this one. This is not, let me be very clear, Amendment 3 is not decriminalization. It is straight up commercial legalization of pot. In the same way that you see in Denver and everywhere else, which will lead to the massive proliferation of weed stores literally everywhere, the putrid smell of marijuana. You can say whatever you want about, oh, well, we need to prohibit public space. It's not going to happen because the commercial incentive is way too strong. My friend Charles.
Okay, dude, let's put the weed smell to the side. Okay, there's a bunch of weed stores. Big deal, dude. That's driving revenue for the economy. That's more tax, dude. I don't know if you realize how much these people get taxed. So I don't really see the issue with that.
Lehman wrote a great Wall Street Journal op-ed just this morning about the problems with widespread legalization with no curbs on commercialization. Excuse me. with no curbs on commercialization or on the increased percentage of THC in products.
No curbs on commercialization. Yeah, it's been curbed, bro. Like, think what other industry has been this curbed? Like, look at I compare the alcohol industry often, but it's like, dude, there's a free reign. Like, it's America, bro. There should be like a free reign into a sense. I mean, abide by the laws, don't be selling shit to minors, all that. But it's like big fucking deal, dude. And I've again, this is my first time ever watching this show, this Breaking Points, this clip here. But this guy I thought would be a little better well spoken for being a host of a show.
Regulation, literally whatsoever. And by the
Oh, and
time
that's what I was gonna say too. The THC percentage, bro. Okay, so we have a high THC percentage. When states are trying to cap the THC percentage, that shit is so dumb to me. It's like, dude, what? Why? What are you doing? Do you even understand what you're doing? Sure, it's stronger, but it's like, dude, it really doesn't even matter that much. I mean, honestly, the states that do, it's probably good for us at Mason Pot because then they can make their own infusions that are as potent as possible. But when people start saying cap and potency and all this shit, I just think that's kind of stupid because people can get what they want. They can end up figuring it out. And regardless, it's like, dude, okay, say I have a flower that's super potent, like a crazy 39% potency. And we all know that THC percentage doesn't mean everything. And this is a great example. Look at some of these distillate carts, 89%, 90% THC. Okay, you take 3 hits off that and then 1 hit off a flower that's 20%, and a good chance that flower will get you more stones. So percentage doesn't always mean everything, dude. I could keep going off on that, but I won't. It looks like my camera here is about to go on down. Let's try to finish this clip up.
people even try and get around to doing that, a lot of the damage is already done in terms of traffic fatalities, rising addiction, problems with
Traffic fatalities. Cannabis is known not to have that big of an impact on driving. Of course, you shouldn't drive stoned if you can avoid it. Addiction. It's been proven that addiction is not necessarily a thing that happens with cannabis. People call it the gateway drug and whatever, but it's been a lot of research has been done that it's not physically addictive, but it is mentally addictive, is what many say.
schizophrenic breaks, and increased amounts of crime. So that's all I would say on the subject. But Trump clearly has, quote, gone woke on the issue.
Yeah, that was. If you're gonna critique, I guess I'm critiquing him, so I should probably have some good, better points too. But like, if you're gonna come that hard, all those points were kind of mute, bro, and you're forgetting all the benefits of having legal cannabis. So let me pause there, get this camera back up and running, and we'll continue. Again, guys, I really don't keep up with politics. I just keep up with cannabis and hemp. And I'm sure, right? If you're a politician like Trump, you're just doing it to get votes, gain popularity. But I feel like let's show the other side here. And I'm actually going to pull up this clip, which I saw months ago. This came out 5 months ago, but when it had Fat Joe in it, it threw me off. And he like barely spoke. I guess he was like the moderator in this um US Vice President Kamala Harris discusses marijuana policy and reforms. Let's throw this on real quick.
Pardon recipients so that we can have a conversation about what this has meant for them as a model and inspiration for what we must do for many others who are not at this table. And their stories, I will tell you, are proof of the importance of pardons and what it means in the life of an individual in terms of allowing them a second chance and an ability to re-enter their community in a productive way. Second, we have issued a call to action for states to pardon these types of offenses, in particular on possession. That is why I've asked the governor of Kentucky to be here. Excuse me. Governor, again, I want to thank you for your leadership and Fat Joe for moderating our discussion today. And with
Fat
that, I
Joe,
thank the press.
Terror
Good
Squad.
afternoon.
Seeing Fat Joe at that table has just made me click the video when I first watched it. I'm sorry I skipped through there, but basically saying there shouldn't be people that are in jail for the same thing, and I think Trump is kind of following in those footsteps. So we'll see what happens, guys, with the reclassification, the legalization. Well, time will tell what's going to happen, right? I think the reclassification happens after the election, if I'm not mistaken, early December. I think it might be December 2nd or 3rd or something. But anyway, it's after the president's elected, so I'm sure we'll be seeing more cannabis news coming out because that would honestly sway me one way or the other. And I usually don't say this because it makes people angry, and if it makes you angry, I'm sorry, but I typically don't really vote. I like to focus on what I can control in my own life more. That's why I don't get wrapped up in politics. That's why I try not to talk politics. I'm cool either way if somebody wants to talk to me about it, but it's like you don't talk politics and religion to people, right? At parties and shit like that. Usually doesn't end too well. But again, I'm not really in it, so it doesn't hurt my feelings or offend me when people have certain views. I listen to them, I hear them out, and I'm just curious what they have to say about it. So that's my stance there, guys. There's so much I feel like so many people, that's why I just focus on what I can control. I'm like, I feel like I could give back in so many cool ways, whether it's in the cannabis space, whether it's in my family life, whether it's in the community, and that's what I'd like to focus on. Sure, the president can affect that. And again, I probably shouldn't even have said that. I'd like to keep my views low key, hold them to my chest, hold the cards to the chest, and see what's good there. But these are just some videos I wanted to react to, guys. Thanks again for posting up on the True Bud Show. Again, I feel like this was a little political pod. But just breaking out clips, dude, just reacting to shit. How do you feel about this? What's going on in the world right now? We live in a crazy cool time, and I'm just curious to see what you see. Drop some, let me know what you want to see me talk about. These clips just pop up. People send them to me. I talk about them. We chat about them. We have some fun and see what's good. And I'll catch you guys on the next.